Hello, welcome to Game Theory Lesson 1. In Lesson 1, I'll go over the syllabus and I'll briefly introduce you guys to what game theory is. So this course is designed to help students be better decision makers. The course is divided into several lessons, and each lesson will have several topical videos. Some lessons, such as this first one, will have a short motivational video, such as this one. But these motivational videos are optional. It's just to give you guys some motivation to learn about the various topics that I'll go over. But if you don't have time, you can skip over that. So I'll list some major topics that I'll cover in this course. The first one is how we're going to represent various strategic situations as specific normal foreign games. So these are the 2x2 matrices with payoffs that you may or may not have encountered in your previous econ courses. I'll also have several lectures that will build on the concept of Nash equilibrium, which is probably the most important concept you'll learn in this course, and it tells us how to arrive at optimal decisions in various circumstances. We will then see how we can apply Nash equilibrium in industrial settings, specifically how oligopolistic firms compete and arrive at pricing and manufacturing decisions based on this equilibrium. I'll also touch upon other applications of Nash equilibrium, such as voting and tournament, and maybe a few more applications. We'll then move on to decisions under uncertainty, where players assign certain probabilities to what their opponents might do, and this is called a mixed strategy. Next, in extensive foreign games, we will relax the assumption that players are interacting simultaneously, and we'll look at the case where there is a first mover and a second mover, and so on. In the next topic, I'll introduce yet another dimension, which is time. You will learn how interacting with the same person repeatedly over time changes the dynamic of the game. And last but not least, I'll touch upon how economists model behavioral anomalies that is inconsistent with a perfectly rational economic agent, and introduce you to the science of behavioral and experimental economics. There'll be 4 homework exercises, and each homework must be a single PDF or Word file that contains all the typed or scanned answers to the questions. Feel free, if you don't have a scanner readily available, to take a photo of your work, but make sure that the photos are in one PDF or Word file when you upload it. You can upload it with the name, homework number, and your last name. And make sure, if it's not multiple choice, that you show your work as much as possible, so I can give partial credit even if their answer is wrong. And for the textbook, I'll follow an introduction to game theory by Joel Watson. You can get to the link here at the Amazon link. I recommend you read it, obviously, but if somehow you can't get access to the book on time, it doesn't arrive on time because there might be a lot of issues with delivery during this time. Don't worry too much because my lecture materials will have everything you need for the homeworks and exams. There's going to be a very important component to this class, which is actually playing games with other people. And MobLab will allow you to do that. Unfortunately, we can't play against other people because this class will be asynchronous. People will just be tuning in their own pace. So I'll have you guys each play against bots in MobLab. So MobLabs, I'll walk you through it in a bit, but it's just basically playing the various games and strategic exercises that we learned in this course. And these MALT exercises will be graded on completion. So it's just going to be an easy attendance point. However, I do want to introduce you to some competition. It wouldn't be a game without any competition, right? So I will give extra credit opportunities for people who do well in these MATLAB exercises. I'll give 10 extra points out of 100 on the final if your cumulative MATLAB score is in the top 10% of the class distribution. And I'll give 5 extra points if your cumulative MATLAB score is in between 11% and 50%. I will, however, drop the lowest 2 scores in case you encounter any technical issues. So right now, I'm going to walk you through MATLAB. So to begin with, you need to either this code, or if you have a smartphone, you need to scan this QR code. So how this works is, all right, so if you go into this website, matlab.com, you can sign up. It will be convenient to use your Purdue ID, and you log in. I'm going to go to the student view. All right, so in order to add my class, you just have to click on this plus button and enter in the code. I guess if you scan the QR code, it would automatically add it for you without putting in the class code. And if you click on active sessions, there'll be all these available games you could play. For example, Stag Hunt, Battle of the Sexes, there's Prisoner's Dilemma. Now there's going to be, for each game, I'll try to have a practice round and a graded round. The practice round, you can totally flop and not do well, and it wouldn't be counted towards your cumulative average. It was just to help you get used to the game. So in the actual graded game, you can do well, and you know what you're doing. Like I said, I won't grade you on your performance, but this will, if you do well, this will help you get extra credit. So for example, let's see. Okay, I'll show you an example of how you can play this game. So whatever game you want to play at the moment, you click join, and then you make your decision, and then you submit. And if you want to know the rules, you can click on the lower left. Oops. Or if you want to know the history of your decisions, you can click on history. And yeah, so I apologize if the order of the games are not exactly in the order of my lecture. I cannot find a way to sort these, and the order changes every time I refresh. So just make sure that you keep track of what you finished. For those that you finished, for example, I finished Prisoner's Dilemma practice. You see that I've already completed 5 out of 5 rounds, and I can't make any more choices. All right, let's go back to our lecture. So for the exams, there'll be 2 online exams. It will be a mix of lecture materials and homework questions, but it wouldn't be exactly the same. There'll definitely be some twists to what you learn, and you'll need to kind of apply what you learned and not just mechanically know how to solve it. It will be open book, open notes, but it will be essential to know how to solve it even without the book and the notes in order to get a high score, because there will be a time limit, and yeah, it wouldn't be efficient to go through your book and notes for every question. I'll have details on the format of the exam and the dates as soon as possible, so stay tuned. And both midterm and final will each take up 30% of your course grade.